Now history tells us that this poor general was rejected, and his society rejected, in the Catholic world. Eventually, he was banned by the Pope and put into prison. A very luxurious prison, a massive church right next to the Vatican, with a tunnel under the ground connecting the Vatican to this day. The Society of Jesus could conquer, though believed dead. Could not its superior general do the same? When Lorenzo Ricci died in his cell at Castel d'Angelo on November 24, 1775, what if his death was no more physical than the supposed disestablishment of his army? Lesser mystics than Ricci, who secretly commanded the Rosicrucians, have been known to die and then at the opportune moment to be resurrected. So here is the general of the Jesuits. He's put into jail, and the time is just before 1798. And the Bible tells me that the beast out of the sea seemed to have a mortal wound. It doesn't say it had a mortal wound. The Bible said one of the heads seemed to have a mortal wound. Now what if this mortal wound was a strategy by the greatest general of that time? The brilliant mind of General Ricci. Now let's go to the United States of America at this particular time when the general was supposedly locked up and eventually died. During the fall of 1775, Congress authorized a committee made up of Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Lynch. Now, please note the problem. The Catholic Church, Jesuits are not welcome in Protestant nations. Here is a new nation arising. It is a colony of Great Britain where the Jesuits are banned. And they start an organization in this new land where there will be freedom of religion, but that requires a particular constitution. Now, freedom of religion would also naturally mean that the Jesuits cannot be banned under such a constitution. Are you with me? That's a very clever constitution. Because if you give freedom to all, then you have to allow these people to operate. So, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Lynch, Benjamin Harrison, and George Washington, all of them, either deists, occultists, or high masons, came together and decided that they were going to wage war with Great Britain if necessary and declare themselves independent, and they had to have a flag. So they created what was called the Flag Committee. And they traveled to Cambridge, Massachusetts. There, according to the only known account of its proceedings, given in Robert Allen Campbell's book, Our Flag, the committee mysteriously shared its authority with a total stranger. And this stranger was an elderly European transient known as the Professor. He had arrived from parts unknown at summer's end. And was he perhaps the prisoner of Castel Sant'Angelo? Supposedly holed up in this prison, having constant access with his crony, his king of Wu, having a conversation, and then slipping away to oversee the forming of the new land and the ultimate overthrow of true Protestantism and Protestantism of that time in one brilliant move. So they tell us ample time to manage the election of the papacy had been there, to relax, pack important things, the philosopher's death, and then take a 3-month voyage to Boston Harbor. Since his arrival, the professor had occupied a guest room in a private Cambridge home, whose hostess, one of his earnest and intelligent disciples, would remember him in her diary, again cited in history book, as a quiet and very interesting member of the family. So here the leading men come together. Now, the seat of the government had already been established, and we will see how it had been established and by whom in a moment.